Good morning, friends. Now I invite you all to the awareness session on Union Public Service Commission Civil Service Examination. So, we are talking about UPSC CSE 2022. For the reason, those students who are pursuing their final year right now, they will be completing their final year in the month of August 2021. So, even after the completion of their final year, if they can join the classes by September 1st or so, they would be definitely in a position to take the examination of UPSC CSE prelims in the month of June 2022. So, that's the reason why it is mentioned here that it is UPSC CSE 2022 Civil Service Examination. And to introduce myself, I am Ram Mupalla, the Program Director of IAS Super 90 from Dhanvantri IAS Study Circle. For the last 3 years, we have been doing this, and we can get only 90 members into our batch, that too through a rigorous selection process. So, before starting all those kind of things, now let me tell you something about UPSC CSE first. Now, why civil services? Why civil services is the question that would be always cling to our memory whenever you have this kind of choice. So, it gives you, that's the best career that a graduate, a general graduate can expect of. That's the best career for him. It gives you a kind of apex position wherein you can occupy the elite cadre of the nation. IAS, IPS, IFS, these are not the ordinary positions, right? They are considered to be the elite circle of the society as well. So, it gives you a good career. Social status, as I have rightly mentioned, it gives you elite positions in society, and it brings you lot of respect and dignity. And service, when it comes to the case of rendering service, nobody other than politicians and bureaucrats have the legitimate authority. You have all the resources and you have all the manpower to dispense with, and you can do lot of service to the society. And then dynamic job nature. So, as suppose if you are recruited as an IAS officer, you are bound to work in any one of those 32 ministries or 69 departments in the government. So, you can be actually posted anywhere that they would like your services to have. So, in that connection, you are exposed to any kind of department and any kind of new challenge. Every day is a good beginning for you, and that's the reason why they have mentioned new day, new set of challenges. No 2 days are there. No 2 days are the same. Okay, this is the reason why. These are the 4 reasons for you to choose civil services: career, social status, service, and the dynamism in the job. And suppose if you prepare for civil service examination, what are the additional benefits that you have? So, the preparation for civil service examination makes you a person of great knowledge. That means you become encyclopedia of the knowledge. You come to know of many things that happen around you. You will have a lot of ideas, and you can crack any state public service commission. This is quite easy. Once you prepare for civil service examination, any other lower examination is damn easy for you to crack. And then, under UPSC CSE, what are the services that are likely to get recruited? So, you have 3 All India services: Indian Administrative Service, Indian Foreign Service, and Indian Police Service. And apart from that, these are the 3 All India services, and the other 16 are considered to be Group A and Group B services. Most of them are from Group A services. So, Indian Audit and Account Service Group A, Indian Civil Account Service, you have Indian Postal Service, you have Indian Railway Protection Force Service, and you have Indian Revenue Service, Customs and Indirect Taxes, and you have Indian Revenue Service Income Tax. So, like that you have Indian Defence Estate Service, Indian Defence Account Service, you have all 19 services. Every year, Union Public Service Commission gives the notification for civil services in the month of February. in the month of February every year. And normally post varies from 700 to 1000 vacancies in all these 19 services. Based on your merit and performance in the examination, you will be, and according to your own priority, you will be offered certain positions herewith. Then, and now coming to the pattern of civil service examination, you all might be knowing that it's a 3-type process: preliminary at the bottom level, mains at the middle level, and the personality test, or what you call interview, at the final level of the selection process. Now, let us see one by one. In prelims, what are the things that you are likely to find? Prelims is an examination which is objective in nature. You find multiple choice questions. And prelims is administered with 2 papers. In paper 1, you find things related to general knowledge and current affairs. So, for that you need to get equipped with basics like basics on geography, history, polity, economy, science. For that you can rely upon NCERT stuff right from class 6 to class 12 on each and every subject. And then in paper 1 you find 100 MCQs and the weightage is for the maximum mark is 200. 100 questions to be answered in 2 hours duration, and the maximum mark that you can get is 200. But in order to get promoted to mains, just the cutoff will be actually hanging around 50%, little more 50% for general category candidates. And then coming to this one, you have paper 2 that can be administered on the day during the afternoon session. Post-lunch session, you can be finding the CSAT paper 2. CSAT paper 2 is of qualifying nature. Here you find certain questions on aptitude and comprehension. Aptitude means your own arithmetic and reasoning, mostly common sense based questions. And general comprehension, that too you need to read a passage and you need to find the right conclusion there from the passage. So, like that you can be finding 80 questions, each carrying 2.5 marks. In order to answer these 80 questions, you are given 2 hours of time. And you need to get just 66 out of 200. That means if you can answer 40 questions, around 27 to 40 questions correctly, without attempting any questions that you don't know, then you will come out of this paper 2 anyway. And the kind of performance you put forth here is not counted for you to get promoted for mains. So, this is all important. Paper 1 is all important because this is qualifying in nature paper 2. So, paper 1, the kind of performance that you put forth in paper 1 definitely gets you promoted to mains. And let us see the cutoff marks in prelims in the recent years. For general category candidates, the cutoff in 2019 was just 98 out of 200 in paper 1. Paper 2 is of qualifying nature, as I have rightly mentioned. So, in paper 1, the 98 marks, if you can manage to get 98 marks, that means if you can answer 49 questions correctly without attempting any question that you don't know, on which you don't have idea. So, if you can attempt 49 questions correctly and leave other 51 questions without attempting, then you are liable to get promoted to mains part of the examination. Every time it is like that only. So, little bit of variance according to your reservation category, of course, little bit of variance you can be finding. And how many members get promoted to mains from prelims? It depends on the number of vacancies. Suppose if you find 700 vacancies, only 9,100 people get promoted to mains. And if you find 1000 posts, 13,000 members get promoted to mains. Only 13. Notwithstanding to the number of applicants or the number of attendees to the prelims examination, only 13,000, if there are 1000 posts, get promoted to mains. This is very important. Coming to mains part of the examination, unlike prelims part, mains part is descriptive in nature. As we have already seen in preliminary examination, you find everything to be of objective in nature. multiple choice questions. Here, that's not the case. You find questions to be descriptive. And there are 9 papers in mains. You can leave aside 2 papers because they are qualifying in nature. They are not counted for your merit ranking. They are these. One regional language paper which is mandatory. Of course, all these 9 papers are mandatory, 2 are the optional papers. One regional language paper which is of qualifying nature. So, you can choose your own mother tongue or your second language of your SSC matriculation or 10th standard. And one English language paper is compulsory. They are administered for a maximum of 300 marks each of them. If you can attain just 100 marks, then that's enough. So, even if you attain more, that's of no use. Then coming to the crux part of the mains examination, here you find 7 papers which are counted for ranking. The first and foremost being the essay paper, general essay, wherein you are supposed to write 2 essays, choosing one from each of the 2 sections. So, each of the essay that you write carries 125 marks and you need to make an answer in 1250 words in each of them. So, essay paper is for 250 marks and it goes for almost 3 hours. The duration is 3 hours. In general studies, you find 4 papers. These are very important. General studies part of mains is very important. Each of them is administered for a maximum of 250 marks and you are given 3 hours of duration for each and every exam here. And in general studies, you find 4 papers that saying the first paper consists of that stuff related to history, geography and society, wherein you are supposed to make 20 answer writings in the stipulated duration. And in paper 2 of GS mains, you can be finding questions related to polity, governance and international relations, wherein you are supposed to answer 20 questions. And in paper 3 of GS mains, you can be finding things related to technology, economy and environment, wherein also you are supposed to answer 20 questions. And then in 4th paper, you find everything to be of even descriptive in nature, but you may not be answering 20 questions as such. Here you find certain theoretical questions on ethics and certain case studies on ethical dilemmas. Okay. So, and then 254s are 1000 optional. And when it comes to the case of optional, you can choose any subject you would like to choose from the list of 27 optional subjects provided by UPSC. The beauty of UPSC examination is that there are 2 beauties with regard to UPSC examination. First and foremost one, there is no cutoff in the pass marks related to the qualifying examination. Means even if you pass with mere 35% of grade, you are allowed to take UPSC CSE examination. That is the first and foremost beauty. The second beauty of the examination is that, suppose if you are a guy who has been graduated with BTech from computer science engineering, you are not forced to take computer science as the optional subject here. So, you can choose any subject, even if it is not from your own discipline. You can choose that as an optional subject for you to take civil service examination. Normally, people from BTech, MBBS, they choose certain humanities subjects for the reason they can get covered with certain syllabus related to GS mains paper as well. It doesn't waste their time. So, there are 27 optional subjects provided here: Telugu literature, English literature, Kannada literature, Tamil literature, Malayalam literature, Hindi literature, PSI or political science and international relations, subjects like even public administration, anthropology, sociology, like that you can be finding a list of 27 subjects. You have to choose one, and in that you have to write 2 papers, each consisting of 250 marks. That means for the entire optional subject you find 500 marks. So, this is 500 and this is 250, 750 and this is for 1000. So, 1750. For 1750, your performance is actually gauged, and then mains cutoff for 1750 marks for you to get an interview call in the year 2019 for a general category candidate, the cutoff was 751. So for 1750, 751, everybody says that UPSC examination is so tough. There is much of a competition. So if you are optimistic, you can say that there is scope for improvement. You come here, prove yourself, and who stopped you to get 1200 out of 1750? Prove your mettle and get 1200. And then you are liable to create a record. You definitely will be able to create a record then. Okay. And then every year it goes like that only. The maximum mark out of this table is 809. 809 out of 1750. Even not even 50%. Even with a little less of 50% of the maximum marks, you are getting an interview call. I think this is the only examination wherein you can get an interview call with just 50% of your performance. Okay. And coming to next, once you get an interview call, so you need to take that personality test. As the name suggests, it is personality test only. It is not test for your knowledge. So it is for 275 marks. They chit chat with you, entire board. So just for 15 to 20 minutes. So they assess your thought process on certain things, and your expression is all important for them. So for 275 marks, this is administered. And now the final cutoff marks after personality test. So 1750 mains, and then plus 275 personality test, it amounts for 20-25 marks. So for a maximum 20-25, the final list is prepared. And for a generally category candidate to get a post, to get a service in those 19 services, earlier we have seen. What is the minimum mark that you need to get? Minimum mark that you need to get 961. Cutoff means minimum mark for you to get a service. 961 in the year 2019. It never crossed 1010, it seems. The cutoff never crossed 1010, even 1006. In this entire table, 1006 is the maximum, it seems. Yes, in the year 2017, the minimum cutoff for you to get one of those 19 services is 1006 for 2025. 1006, even it is also less than 50%. So there is no examination on this planet that gives you a position with less than 50% of your performance meant for the recruitment, except UPSC, CSC, I can dare say. So if you can get 1215, 1215 is considered to be 60% of the exam, 60% of 2025. So if you can get 1215, it creates a record. For the last 74 years, the examination was conducted for 74 times so far by UPSC. Every year it gives you a notification, right? So in all these examinations, there is nobody who could get 1215 out of 2025. It's possible by you only. Prepare for civil service examination. And then facts on CSC 2019. Normally people are so apprehended these days that UPSC examination is a pan-India examination. So normally 30 lakh people will be definitely applying. So with a mere graduation as their qualification, they can apply for it. So it can be more than 30 lakhs or minimum of 50 lakhs, people always say. But number of candidates applied in the year 2019, it is more or less same every year, 8,65,000. Number of candidates applied for prelims, 50% of it. So can we say that CSC is a 50% examination everywhere? Number of candidates selected for mains, it is very less, 11,845, because only in the ratio of 1:13 people get promoted to mains. 11,845. So that means little over 700 vacancies were there during that time. Number of candidates selected for personality test only 2,034. In the ratio of 1:2.5 people are called for interview, or in the ratio of 1:2. A total of 829 candidates. So there are 829 vacancies. There were 829 vacancies in the year 2019. And that is the reason why you have only 11,845 members to get promoted to mains, and only 2,034 were called for interview. And the ratio of almost 1:2.5. 657 men and 172 women. There is another opportunity for female aspirants here. So we talk much about empowerment of women, and they are 50% in the society now. So if you take gender wise, so but they are not able to make it. Now this time you can be finding more and more women participating in this examination. Okay, and finally, as Abdul Kalam rightly puts in, there is no end to anything. End means actually effort never dies. So far we have learnt all about UPSC Civil Services examination. Now we come to the coaching part. Normally, always there is a kind of doubt in the minds of aspirants whether coaching is required. If you are in a position to prepare everything on your own, if you are in a position to learn everything from your own resources, I can say no coaching is required. But if at all you want to go speed, if at all you want to achieve very early the kind of service, if at all you want to get the help of somebody, right help, if at all you want to make a decision on what to be read and what not to be read, or if at all you want to get equipped with a kind of knowledge transfer, so then if at all you want to find an ecosystem wherein you are prone to learn things, you are motivated, you are inspired to learn things, so then comes the relevance of coaching. Now let us come to Dhanvantari IAS, my own stuff. Why Dhanvantari IAS? You know, Dhanvantari IAS is the sister, Dhanvantari IAS Study Circle is the sister concern of Dhanvantari Foundation International, which has been rendering services to the Brahmin community for the last 15 years of its existence. So, community interest here. So, only 90 members from the community are taken every year to offer them the best coaching. Community interest, so hence it must be result oriented. What is the objective behind this program of IAS Super 90 for Dhanvantari? The only objective of IAS Super 90 from Dhanvantari is to find its younger generation from the community to occupy the elite cadre of the nation. So it leaves no stone unturned for this to happen. So community interest and result oriented, and it can never be compared with any other commercial entity. It is first of its kind and it is also the best of its kind if you see the results of the last 2 years. Now, structured program with a proper micro planner. So here I am the program director. I can give you beforehand the micro planner for the entire program, which runs for almost 9 months. And micro planner, on which day, which subject is to be taught, who is the faculty member that's taking it, like that micro plan. And then limited intake, only 90 members are taken. So you need to go through a kind of selection process. It's not just like that you are getting admission here. Admissions are not open here. You need to get, you need to enroll yourself for entrance test, and an objective screening test will be conducted first, and thereafter certain people get shortlisted with an adequate cutoff, and then a descriptive test is administered for them. Those who clear the descriptive test also, they need to face an interview. And in all these phases, objective entrance tests and then descriptive test and interview, if a candidate performs well and if he shows keenness and if he has the competence, then only he gets selected. So that is how the limited intake is possible here. And then admission through a proper selection process. So as I have actually mentioned the selection process already, Individual care, good peer-to-peer interaction. You get good peer-to-peer here because they have been selected. They're not just like that. They have not come from the open market. They have come out of a process. So then you get good peer-to-peer interaction. Individual care is possible for the reason the members are quite limited. If you go to certain coaching centers who are found to be so good, their name is quite good, you can be always finding good number of students only in the batch, minimum of 450 to 500 members, wherein you won't find any kind of individual care. Here that's not the case. You find individual care because the intake is quite limited to 90 and majority faculty from New Delhi. Yes, we have the community interest. We leave no stone unturned, as I have rightly mentioned. We bring all the faculty members only from New Delhi. And you can see the list of the faculty members also in the subsequent phase of this presentation. Daily news analysis session. This is our unique feature. Daily news is done on daily basis, not on weekly basis, unlike other commercial entities normally does. Regular answer writing, evaluation and feedback. Here we initiate answer writing because the descriptive part is all important as far as CSE is concerned. So in order to ensure good descriptive writing there in the mains examination, we have taken this kind of initiative. From day one, we initiate that answer writing practice to you. Regular answer writing practice and their evaluation and feedback will be given to the respective students. This is possible for the reason we have limited members. And then well-equipped classrooms, library and reading room. You are seeing here the interactive flat panel. So the classroom is quite equipped. You have good library facility and also you have reading rooms. One-stop solution from basics to final selection. So once you get into this program, you are considered to be quite lucky enough because you need not wander here and there. Prelims somewhere, mains somewhere, optional nowhere, test series somewhere, not like that. Here we take care right from basics, right from NCERT class 6 to your final selection. So prelims, mains, interview, your optional subjects, test series, interview guidance and mock interviews, everything is taken care of. One-stop solution, you can say. Good. And then next, who are behind this program? We have certain retired civil servants who are the honorary mentors for this program. Dr. Mohan Kanda Garu, he was chief secretary when both Dr. Y.S. Rajshekhar Reddy and N. Chandrababu Naidu were the chief ministers of the combined AP. So Dr. Mohan Kanda Garu, he himself comes and teaches classes here. He takes classes on ethics case studies of ethics. And Dr. K. Ravindra Rao Garu, who was DGP during the chief ministership of Dr. Y.S. Rajshekhar Reddy in combined AP during the years 2004 to 2009. He comes and takes classes on internal security. His specializations are Naxalism and terrorism because he has handled farm with them. So that's the reason why he would like to take classes on internal security in that aspect, terrorism and Maoism. And Shri I.V.R. Krishna Rao Garu, who was the founder chief secretary of the newly formed state of Andhra Pradesh, and he takes certain classes on governance. And we have also Dr. L.V. Subramanian Garu, who visited last time, to give a lecture for our students for almost 3 hours on ORR Outer Ring Road project. And then we have Dr. G. Vivekananda, young and dynamic civil services achiever, the civil service achiever of 2015 batch, who is right now working as Joint Director of Armed Force Headquarters in the Ministry of Defence here at Hyderabad. He is regular and he is the mentor for all our students here. He takes care of classes. He takes a lot of interest in taking classes. Almost on every Saturday and Sunday, you can be finding here him. Okay. Team of esteemed faculty members. For all the core subjects, we have faculty from New Delhi. Dr. Sudesh Kumar Jha, who happens to be Honorable Advisor to Honorable Prime Minister of India on Foreign Policy Matters, who holds 3 PhDs with him, who retired from Delhi University and who has been teaching civil service aspirants for the last 28 years. He takes classes here on international relations. All the New Delhi faculty members, they come on Sunday normally by flight. They stay here for a week and they take 30 hours of classes. Depending on the volume of their syllabus, they pay visits. Suppose Dr. Sudesh Kumar Jha, international relations, he has to take 60 hours of classes here. So then he pays 2 visits. In his 2 visits, he completes the entire stuff related to international relations. We have Shri Kanishka Shekhar ji for polity and governance, political theory and Indian government politics. He takes care of. These are the 2 people who are taking care of PSIR as the optional subject here. So these are the 2 people who are taking care of the PSIR subject. Normally, you can be finding only one single man show for an optional subject, but here we don't have such. We have divided the syllabus and these 2 people are taking care of it. If possible, I can even call Dr. Rajkumar Jha for political theory, and on that occasion Kanishka Shekhar will be taking Indian government and politics. So almost you can be having 3 persons for PSIR classes. It's not subject wise but area wise specialists we have. And Shri Abhash Vaidyanathan here for economy, he teaches basics of economy very well. Shri Abhash Vaidyanathan has got almost 25 years of experience in teaching basics of economics for civil services examination. And we have Shri Neeraj Sharma, who has been a bureaucrat. He comes and takes classes on current economy. So here you find 2 faculty members for economy, unlike in other commercial entities. So one for basics and other for current events. And then we have Shri M.K. Mohit for history, and he takes care of art and culture. We have Dr. Anshul Bajpai for modern Indian history as well. And he takes Dr. M.K. Mohit, Shri M.K. Mohit takes care of Manoj Kumar Mohit. He is from Delhi. He is also from Delhi. He takes classes on AIMC, Ancient, Medieval and Culture. And we have Bhushan Ketkar for geography. But for ecology, we have that young and dynamic civil servant, Dr. G. Vivek. Environment is taken care of by him. And he is also a faculty member who teaches anthropology optional subject. Anthropology optional. And then we have Dr. Tanu Jain for ethics. For ethics theoretical concepts, we have Dr. Tanu Jain from Delhi. And Mohan Kanda Garu for case studies on ethical dilemmas. So, he wrote a book called Mohan Makarandam in Telugu, Hyderabad Pebbles in English. The same got translated to Hyderabad Pebbles in English. You can go through that. He has all those ethical dilemmas discussed there in it. He shared all his experiences in 36 years long of experience that he has with him as an IAS officer. And Shri K. Aravindrao Garu, as I have previously mentioned, he takes care of internal security, certain points related to Maoism and terrorism. And we have Shri S. Sudhir Kumar, who hails from Hyderabad. He takes care of science and technology. And we have also Shri Ravi Pathak, who fine-tunes the concepts related to science and technology on current trends. And we have Shri Kalyan Ainampudi, who takes care of the daily news analysis on daily basis. Daily he takes care of those items that appeared in newspapers, almost 13 to 16 items a day. He brings them, he discusses them in the classroom with the students for almost 1.5 hours a day. He is highly respected and loved by his students. And then we have Shri Ram Gandepudi, who teaches CSAT classes here. So that qualifying test of prelims stage. And these are the faculty members we have in Dhanvantri for the last 2 years. And then, so how the course is taken here? So the entire course is divided into, as I have rightly mentioned, we impart coaching right from basics to final selection. The entire course is divided into 4 modules. So we call it as a quadrilateral program, right from basics to final selection. In the first module, you find everything related to NCERT stuffs. This is very good for beginners. We always seek beginners. We want to have clean slates. That's it. So, foundation course with emphasis on NCERTs. We start right from class 6th polity, class 6th geography, class 9th economy, class 6th history. class 6 science. We start right from there. So we begin from scratch. So module 1 deals with that stuff. It runs for almost 2 months. This year, those who are targeting UPSC CSC 2022, we are commencing this program on 4th July 2021 and it goes till 31st August for 2 months. On 4th July to 31st August. And you need to spare, you can be anywhere. If you can spare just 2 hours a day, if you can steal 2 hours of your day schedule, even if you are doing your final year, even if you are pursuing your final year of your graduation, if you can find just 2 hours of day, then you can be finishing this module within 2 months. Then you get equipped with a lot of basics. And coming to this next one, this is very important. This is the crucial one. Mains cum prelims program. This is a classroom program. Of course, it's a live streaming for those students who are seeking online coaching. So, this is a classroom program. It starts on 1st September of 2021, this year. 1st September 2021. It lasts for almost 5 months till 31st January. We have the micro planner. Everything gets completed by 31st January at any cost. 31st January of 2022. And the examination, the prelims examination is scheduled in the month of June. Revision cum test series, that's module 3. For 4 months, you are left with February, March, April, May. And your examination in the month of June. So, for almost 4 months, you have the revision cum enrichment program along with test series. And you can be writing minimum of 50 grand tests as part of module 3. And then coming to module 4, after prelims, for those people who have been selected, or even if you are not selected this time, so better luck next time, but you need to go ahead with mains only. Mains test series, mains revision, workshops and test series will be administered for them. And then finally in the module 4, you have personality test training, basic guidance and mock interviews will be held by Dr. Mohan Kanda sir's panel, the highly reputed panel in Hyderabad, even in Delhi. So, the kind of quality that he offers, that panel offers is a model one. Yeah, next. IAS Super 90 program dates, as I have rightly mentioned them. Now, just to have a look at them. Module 1, NCERT stuff, right from class 6 to class 10th, 4th July to 30th August. Module 2, mains cum prelims, classroom and as well as live streaming. Live streaming for those who take online coaching. And we always recommend classroom program because we find a good ecosystem here. So, it starts from 1st September 21. So, those students who are doing their final year, they get completed with all their final year exams by 31st August at any cost, even during this pandemic time. So, the classes are getting commenced from 1st September, mains classes. Completion of syllabus 31st Jan. So, I have a micro plan with me and that is the confidence. That is with that confidence that I am able to say that the entire syllabus gets completed by 31st Jan at any cost. And you have in module 3 revision cum test series from 1st February to 31st May. This is very crucial for students. This is very important for teachers. Teachers for you to make more things, mains cum prelims and revision cum test series. Here comes the part of the students. So, for 4 months, they are doing everything for them to get onto prelims successfully. Prelims exam by UPSC in the month of June. Module 4 revision cum test series mains post prelims and thereafter you have interview guidance. So, this is our program structure. Yeah. And you can actually browse through YouTube, Dhanvantra IAS, you find so many videos of previous classes. And then you can contact me, I am Ram Muppala, Program Director. And you can call me, you can feel free to call me to get your doubts clarified on 9866079891. And you know, Dhanvantra IAS Study Circle is the sister concern of Dhanvantri Foundation International, located at Tilak Nagar Crossroads, Shivan Road, Amberpet, Hyderabad. Thank you very much, friends, for your patient listening and all the best. And try to acquire seat in IAS Super 90 program. That will be a game changer. Thank you very much.